Welcome to this week's edition of Round 14 Podcast.
We're back, Tony. We're back.
Episode 24, my friend.
Yeah, 24. How you been?
Doing good. How about you? You're freezing up there. I know that.
Yeah. You know what? Winter is here. And if you noticed, I've got some new swag on this week. I got my Round 14 toque. That's right. I said toque. Yeah, so Rick Babcock, our good buddy, Rocco Bob 33, hooked us up with some Round 14 merch.
Yep.
And very comfortable because on the weekend, the past weekend, we had snow for 3 straight days. Wasn't Buffalo, but it was still a pain. And
it doesn't matter. It's still...
Yeah, that's right. And there's nothing like getting off a midnight shift and then having to shovel the driveway before you go to bed.
See, that's the thing. I mean, I've been down here a very long time. Been down here for 25 years now. But at my age, I did grow up in New York City and in New Jersey at some points. And I do remember the unexpected snowstorm. And that was the worst part about it, was getting up and, oh, crap, 4 inches. I got to dig out the car and whatever. No, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we've gotten kind of, I don't know, like spoiled the last few years, and sometimes we had a green Christmas and it doesn't really get going till the new year, and some people think, we made it through, and well, there's the whole thing of January and February to come, but
right, exactly.
So I thought I'd just share what my weekend looked like here, and I got 3 little clips from what I woke up to. So here we go. Fuck. Here we go.
It's so funny how quiet everything is when it's
that was day one, because nobody wanted to go outside, right? So you're waiting for the first person to fire up the snowblower or the shovels. This was day 2. and then we have, of course, day 3.
Yeah, that looked like fun.
Yeah, you know what? It's I remember when you were a kid, right? You couldn't wait for it to snow and get out and play.
Oh, yeah.
When you get older, not so much.
Well, I mean, I compare that type of weather to the stereotypical great place to visit. Wouldn't want to live there. I mean, you go somewhere, you get a cabin for the weekend or for the week, whatever. You got the fireplace going. You got some snowmobiles, or you're having a good time. You're having fun. And it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
But to live in it and work in it and commute in it, and it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I got a few messages on how pretty it looked and how
it's beautiful.
How beautiful it looked, and I said, I said, yeah, that's that's nice. That was a nice little message you sent me. But no, you know what? It is what it is, and
right.
We choose to live here, and 6 months of the year we live in that. So, anyways, let's get on with something more important than my driveway.
Yeah, something a little more thrilling.
Well, we had a big. I was gonna say we had a big week. Sly had a big.
Yeah, he did. He was all over. He was on every talk show. He was promoting the heck out of Tulsa King. He was everywhere you turned. He was somewhere.
Yeah, and Rocky just turned 46, right?
46 yesterday.
Time flies, right? And if anything, the last little while has proved that Rocky stands the test of time.
Absolutely. I mean, you had the Rocky run last Saturday, and over 11,000 people showed up to do the Rocky run. Now, granted, out of the 11,000 people, I'm sure there's a ton of them that are just, hardcore runners that want to do the 5K, the 10 mile, whatever it is that they want to do. And but damn well that a lot of them, if not more than half are Rocky fans,
Mm-hmm.
dressing up like their favorite Rocky character or the funny one,
Yeah.
whatever they want to do. And as we mentioned before, John has his artwork there. And this year it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool because John had a lot of brand new artwork that was just introduced
Mm-hmm.
the week prior, pretty much. And he talked to us about that on our little live podcast, that
Right.
his work's going to be on shirts now,
Yeah.
available on, well, not now available. They are going to be
Yeah.
available. I don't want to mislead anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be on the Sly Stallone shop. So that'll definitely, that one he's wearing right there, I'll be getting that one. That's
Yeah, that's a
awesome.
great shirt, right? So it's one thing that, I mean, for him to have that, it's another thing that he did it, right? So
And you know what's so funny about it? He's a, you know, a Rocky fan like we
mm-hmm.
all are, and
Yeah.
he grew up liking the character. But look at, it's just got to be amazing for him to have been a fan like us and
Mm-hmm.
grow up and be as talented as he is, and to become the official Rocky artist. And now
Mm-hmm.
his work is being sold in the Rocky shop,
Yeah.
Slice the shop. So it's got to be a part of the dream come true. That's just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for him. It couldn't happen with nicer guys. So that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty awesome.
No, that's right. And like you said, lots of success for the run. It just gets bigger and bigger every year, and whether you're there for Rocky, like you said, most people are there because it is the Rocky run. Some people,
Yeah.
it's just another marathon they want to
Yeah,
continue
some
in.
people, they just run them. They run whatever's nearby, whatever,
Mhm.
5Ks around the corner. I know Tony DeGennaro that we are friendly with.
Mhm.
He's been going every year for the past 8 years.
Sure.
I've been doing it since 18, so he's been
Right.
doing it since 14.
Yeah.
And
Picture
there he
him
is
and
with
his.
his kids and his dad.
Yeah.
He ran it this year with his dad and his sons. So
That's awesome.
that's very cool, very cool. And look at all the people behind. Look at all the people on the
Oh, I know.
steps, and they're all taking pictures, and it's just got to be bedlam. It's got to be like Rocky heaven. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And like
Well,
you said, just as relevant now as it was 46 years
that's
ago.
right. Right. And I mean, the steps and the stature are usually a focal point for people that are visiting Philly. It just amped up that weekend.
Sure.
Everywhere you went probably was Rocky, and then to
Yeah.
have Sly there a few days before really got the thing buzzing too, right? So
I couldn't even imagine that. I mean, I went to the restaurant. I went to the Victor Cafe when my daughter and I went up there,
mm-hmm.
and we had dinner there. I couldn't imagine sitting there having dinner and then they come walking in,
Yeah.
or being at the statue taking a picture and he just comes walking up. It's just got to be so surreal because it's not a situation where you would expect to see him.
No.
Be in those high tourist areas, pretty much
Yep.
is what they are.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, that's right. But and then Tulsa King on Paramount Plus is nicely underway now into the second week. Huge success, right? Huge
yeah,
success in that show.
yeah, and morally so. I mean, I've always been a realistic Sly fan,
Mm-hmm.
more of a Rocky fan out of all of his stuff than anything. And I've been realistic about it his whole career. If something's good, it's good. If it wasn't, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But this here is something special. You could tell. It's clicking.
And is it, I think you'd agree with me. Is it, the right time? I know he joked on the talk shows and the interviews, how come, I couldn't play a gangster, and how come De Niro got this, and how come Brando got this, and Pacino. But is this maybe not the perfect time for him to do this character?
Probably because, I mean, let's face it, he was stuck in the stigma of Rocky Rambo
Mm-hmm.
for quite a while until he branched out and started doing other characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he still had that label on him,
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Rambo.
Yeah.
So it was probably hard for some people to see him as that gangster or as that mafia type boss character. Now that it's been so far removed and you're dealing with a whole new generation of fans, I think it is a little easier for him to play that role now.
Yeah. And you know what? We all know the, premise of the show, and he was locked up for 25 years and then he gets shipped off to Tulsa. I kind of think that a part of this maybe was written for him in mind. An older.
It might have been.
Sly.
Yeah, it might have been. I think that's what brings a lot of the originality, I guess you could say, and the humor to it, is not only of the story of the character, but the time warp of being locked away for that 25 years and can you think about the American or worldwide time frame of 1997,
Mhm.
98 ish
Mhm.
to now? How much has happened in the world and in technology and in
Yeah.
society and how people are and how it's amazing on the and that's adds so much humor to the show.
Mhm.
Right away when he heard about the weed store, he's thinking that it's an illegal front.
Yeah.
While it's being legally sold, he's like he can't grasp that.
Well,
So
that's
it's
just it, right? Like, there was no internet, there was no cell phones, and well, I mean, very, very early
oh,
stages, right? So
it was in the infancy stages.
Mhm.
That's like when they were talking about. He goes, they should have somewhere where you can go and find out about these things. And the guy's like, yeah, Google.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just it fits with his, I don't wanna say dry humor, but
Yeah,
it just it works, right? Because like you said,
yeah.
he's been removed from the world for 25 years,
Hmm.
more or less, and then
Hmm.
has to throw him back into it, and then not only that, he's, running it, so
Yeah, I mean, now he has to try to build a family because they
Mhm.
kind of banished them, is really what happened. And obviously,
Mhm.
we'll get more into that as the series develops. But I mean, these series that have been released by Netflix and Hulu and Paramount Plus and
Mhm.
wherever else they're being shown on, they originated because I mean, network TV they couldn't show a lot of things on ABC and
Right.
NBC, regular network TV shows. They were very handcuffed, so to speak, and a lot of subject matters or things they could say or having the real reality of the street talk.
Mhm.
So it wasn't really until HBO came out with The Sopranos
Mhm.
in '99 that it really blew open the door of we could have a TV series, so to
Yeah.
speak, that's pretty much no holds barred. It's like reality.
Right.
And I mean, and that one was. I mean, Sopranos was just like nothing anybody had ever seen.
Shocking, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It
it
was,
was. It was
when
very
you first saw
realistic.
it, you're like, "The hell's going on here?"
Yeah,
But,
yeah, because it was definitely very different than the glamour, I guess you could say, of the
Mhm.
Godfather type
Mhm.
mafia or the Goodfellas type mafia. This
Yep.
was a regular guy who had a family, and
Yep.
it was violent. It was realistic, very
Mhm.
realistic, and those
Yeah.
guys did a fantastic job with the writing
Mhm.
and the storytelling. Of course, the acting was incredible. But it definitely paved the way for a lot of shows. A
Well,
lot of
that's just
shows.
it, right? And, I mean, there's obviously series before that and there's series after that, but
Yeah.
this was this was one that people are still watching, right? Like, they'll go
Hmm.
back and watch it again. They'll rewatch it. It's like the Rocky movies, right? It's like it sticks, right? So, I
Yeah.
think
Well, I
just
mean, probably
because,
it was
like you
on for
said
a long time too. It was on for
Mhm.
99 to '07. So
Yeah.
that's 8 years or so, nine
Mhm.
years,
Mhm.
rough math. And that's a long time. A lot happened in that time
Yeah.
period of the show. And it's funny because like you said, it was a lot of other shows and we're trying to be similar, but it opened up a lot of doors. I don't want to say it had to be rough for it to be realistic, but it definitely
Mhm.
took off the kid gloves. Oh, you can't say that. Oh, don't write that in there. You can't have them killed that way. That's way too violent.
Mhm.
Or that you can't have them work and own a strip club. That you can't do that on TV. It's kids might see it.
Mhm.
So it's very different
Mhm.
where they made it very realistic. They're really that simple.
Yeah.
They did it about
Yeah.
as realistic as you could be.
That's right. And then, I mean, it led to more of these streaming services where people can, control their content, what their kids see and what they don't see. And then it, like you said, it opened the door for some of these other ones that said, oh, now, so if they can do that, we can do it.
Right.
And then,
Well, and I think the appeal to The Sopranos too was it definitely portrayed Tony and his family as the
Mhm.
a regular everyday Joe, which
Yeah.
obviously he wasn't. But I
Mhm.
mean, he had a family, he had a wife, he had
Yeah.
kids, he had the marital problems, he had the kids giving him aggravation, he had
Mhm.
that family day to day stuff that a lot of
Mhm.
people could relate to. So it definitely made it more believable and realistic to the average person who could say, "Oh my God, I could definitely see when my kids come home and they do that crap,"
Yeah.
or whatever it was. And I think that was why it segued into some other shows that took the regular person and put them in that type of environment. and it was more believable and more realistic, like a Breaking Bad type of
Right.
show where you had the teacher
Yeah.
who was super smart at chemistry. Hey, I can make a lot of money doing this, and
Yeah.
obviously you saw how that developed.
Well, that's right. And then, with the legalization of marijuana and the shops popping up, like this show was really ahead of its time, I think. Right. So,
Breaking Bad? Oh yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it really opened up the doors to think like, okay, well, maybe it's not so. I don't want to say, I don't want to use the word negative, but I mean, maybe you realize that it's not just drug dealers that are using this stuff for medicinal purposes and whatnot.
No, I mean you had a teacher who was a regular middle class guy with a
Yeah.
family,
Mhm.
and having money
Yeah.
troubles, and sees that he could get his family out of money troubles
Mhm.
in 1 month.
Yeah.
And of course, it snowballs into a lot of other stuff that everybody's aware of, because he wound up becoming somebody that he was not to start with. He was not that teacher anymore.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
became, who he became in
Mhm.
the series with everybody else. But it was, yeah, definitely, it was showing that it's not just the corner drug dealer or
Mhm.
the junkie on the corner anymore. It's a
Right.
teacher. It's a business guy. It's
Yeah.
whatever it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely showed that. And
Yeah.
that was another one that was on for a long time too.
Yeah, that's right. And then they had a spin-off too, though. They had a spin-off from that. Everybody called Saul, right?
Yeah, Better Call Saul
Better
was a
Call Saul. Yeah.
spinoff of that, and I know they had one movie,
Mhm.
El Camino was called,
Mhm.
that was kind of taken off on that as well. It was very well done, very well written. The acting was superb,
Yeah.
storylines was superb. I mean, it was just like everything else that it kind of ran its course. I mean, the best of shows, they eventually start to decline in
Mhm.
writing
Mhm.
quality or in storytelling or
Yeah.
acting, or it could be the business part of it where the actors don't agree to the contract, so you might have to write one off that you didn't want to write off.
Yeah.
So it's just like anything else. Sopranos eventually ran its course and kind of went out on top. It didn't
Mhm.
it didn't become that show that nobody really watched anymore, but was still
Yeah.
on. It went out when it should, and I think Breaking Bad did the same thing. They kind of took a bow when they said, "Let's just go out while we're still relevant."
Yeah. Too many shows I find, they run their course and then people just lose interest and they try and push that last season, maybe just for more money or whatever it is,
Yeah,
and it doesn't work.
no, it doesn't, and you could tell too because if you watch the show and you enjoy it, you watch the first season, the second season, the third, whatever, however many you keep. There always gets to that one point where you're even kind of losing
Yeah.
interest. You're like, all right, come on, we've seen this already 3 times.
Yeah.
Let's get a little original here. And then you could tell they're kind of, that Hollywood quote, they jumped the shark and they need to pull the plug on the
Mhm.
show.
Mhm.
So jump the shark. I'm sure Henry Winkler's proud of that.
Wow. Yeah. So, but speaking of series that are runner's course and some that are midstream, we touched on this a little while ago, but I thought since we're talking about this style, like family style oriented mob, no, this isn't really a mob, but I mean, family style and power
Oh, it
is
is.
Yellowstone, right?
No, it is. I mean, after I watched the first season, I said to my
Yeah.
wife, I said, "This is Godfather with cowboy hats." It's really
Yeah.
that simple.
Yeah.
Um, Anytime you have a family of power, it doesn't have to literally be a mafia
No.
extension. It's the same type of thing, though.
Mhm.
That is what a organization of power is. It
Mhm.
is a mafia organization,
Mhm.
and yeah, this one here is on season 5 now, and episode 3
Mhm.
was on Sunday, and it definitely they have not started declining. Let's put it that way. They
No.
have, not in my opinion, anyway.
No. And you can
They've
see, I
only
mean, the
been on
first
for
4 seasons, you could just see it climbing and climbing, right?
yeah,
And gain
yeah,
momentum and you get hooked by it. Like I said before, I think in a previous episode, like you, I was a little late to the party.
yeah.
So I was able to catch up and it didn't take long. I find a show. I've started a few series before for whatever reason, watched 2 or 3 episodes, and then you don't get back to it, and you never will. I find if you
Yeah, it happens.
watch 2 or 3 and then you watch something else.
It
Yellowstone,
happens.
I didn't have that problem.
No, but you're right. It does happen sometimes where right now, actually, my wife and I started watching Ray Donovan,
Okay.
and it's, I believe, 7 seasons, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
And we are in episode like 3 or 4 on season 3.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I just said to her the other night after we watched one, I said, I'm starting to lose it.
Yeah.
I'm starting to not really care anymore because there's nothing new gaining my interest. There's
Mhm.
nothing new making me go, oh my God, did you see that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. Everybody has a bad season. It
Mhm.
happens.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're right, Tim. If it's something that you're really interested in and the writing is good, it keeps you going. It keeps your
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
It's like that 4-hour movie that you sat down and watched, and when it was over, you wanted more, and you didn't realize, oh, it was 4 hours. Holy Christ, really?
Yeah.
The writing's that good. It has your attention. It has your interest. But if it's
Mhm.
not, and you're looking at your watch,
Yeah. See, I never had that with Yellowstone. I never ever thought, oh, how long is this episode? Or
right,
there's so many little inner stories within the story
right.
that I think there's twists, and there's everybody's struggle for power, right? And you got the family and the head of the family, and who wants to be in charge and who thinks they're in charge. And there's just, I mean, the Western theme that just adds to it, right? Like,
Yeah, agreed. And you're right. I don't ever look. Matter of fact, the episode always ends before I'm expecting it to.
mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
ever look at my clock. Is it over yet?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to bed soon or something. But I think that's what adds to the mystique to it. It is so different where it takes place in Montana, and
Mhm.
obviously a lot of people cannot relate to that country ranch style of
Mhm.
living.
Mhm.
So I think that's what definitely adds to the mystique to it. That it's not the regular middle class family teacher guy like
Mhm.
in Breaking Bad, and it's not the typical mobster
Yeah.
family or mafia family. And you look at these guys like they're ranchers, they're trying to just make a living. They want to keep their land, but it's so much more than that. The writing is just so good. He does such a wonderful job.
Well, not only that, like you just said, you touched on it, the land, right? Like how much, I mean, that's a huge struggle, right? The power struggle for land, for corporate development. People see all that, hundreds
Well,
and hundreds of
especially today's
acres.
day and age too. They want to build condos or an airport or
Mhm.
a resort,
Mhm.
and you're talking generational wealth
Mhm.
beyond your wildest dreams.
Mhm.
And to say no, I want my land that's
Yeah.
been in my family for 500 years or whatever.
Mhm.
That's pretty powerful.
Well,
I mean,
not only that, but they're on the horses, the cowboys, the shotguns. They're willing to fight for it, right? They're
yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're not
yeah.
going to back down from this either. So, and that's the first few seasons. And I apologize if anybody hasn't seen this yet, but this would be um, a good interest for you to maybe start if you haven't
Yeah,
seen
I
it.
mean that series started in 2018.
Yeah.
That's 4 years ago,
Hmm.
almost 5 years ago. So it is a long enough ago where we'll put a little disclaimer right now. We might be saying some stuff that if you haven't seen it, you might want
Yeah.
to wait to watch it. But yeah, it's old enough now where I think some of the stuff can be said, and like you said, they're willing to fight for it. And that's the thing; these city slickers come into
Hmm.
town
Yeah.
from New York or from LA or from
Hmm.
Denver and think that they're just a bunch of hillbillies, that they
Yeah.
have no idea what they're doing. They could just wrangle the land away from them, and they couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah. So you got a favorite character on it?
I think the favorite one, who was a lot of people's favorites, is Rip.
Yeah.
I love Rip. I just think he's that character that you don't. He's just a righteous guy. He does
Yeah.
what's right. He's loyal to John.
Hmm.
I like him the best.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about
He's
you?
good. I gotta go with John Dutton.
Well, yeah,
I just, I mean,
that's a
I don't
given.
want to be cliche and to say that's the top dog, but just this role. I've always been a Kevin Costner fan.
Same,
Um,
yeah.
Pretty much everything he's done, I like, but this role This is just a great role. And I
Yeah,
mean,
and
like
like
I
you
said,
said, another
maybe
one that's a good time in his life. He's
that's right.
older, he's wiser and more, you know, Marlboro man looking. He's just plays it perfect. Plays
Yeah.
it perfect. Who's your
And
least favorite character?
my least favorite, I'm I don't know if I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know if I have a least favorite. That's a tough question. I I would say what's his other son, Jamie? No,
Jamie.
no, like who is that the businessman one?
Yeah, Jamie's the
Yeah.
lawyer.
I I guess he'd be my least favorite just because he's a bit of a snake, right?
He's a little bit of a
Like,
weasel.
but
He's meek.
it just and it's not like I said, it's not that he's not cool or nothing. It's just I think he does. I think he plays that role very good.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, I can't remember the actor's name, but he obviously plays that well because I don't like him. And it's like a
exactly.
movie.
And that's his role. His
When
role is
you
to
have
be
a
not liked.
movie, when you have a movie or a TV show,
Right.
and you think, God, I hate this guy. He's doing it right. But
Right.
yeah, if that's he's my least favorite. And it's not only that, it's just his I just find his scenes boring. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Rips if fist fighting with somebody or
I
Dutton's
love
just
Rip.
like Kevin Costner's John Dutton. He doesn't take any shit.
No.
Like he says, this is the way we're doing it. And
No.
he'll just look at Rip and say, they're your hands, straighten
Get it
them out.
done.
Like,
Make
and
it
just
happen.
walks away. And he goes, I'm going for a ride today. When I come back, make it, I want all this gone. I want all this taken care of. You know what?
Awesome.
And that's true. Anybody that has a job, the boss doesn't want to hear about the menial crap that goes on,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
He doesn't like. That's why he has supervisors and foremans, and
Right.
that's why he has Rep. You take care of
Right.
it. I don't want to deal with this.
Exactly right. No,
Because if he probably says if I have to deal with it, it's going to get dealt with immediately.
Yeah, and if he has to deal with it, it's going to be a real problem for Rip because Rip's the one that's supposed to be dealing with it. So
yeah, no,
and I think
like I said,
I don't think Rip's afraid of anybody but John.
Yeah. So your least favorite character?
My least favorite character would be a toss-up between two people, and you're going to laugh at who they are. It's Casey, the son that's kind of exiled into American Indian land, and his wife. Both of them, they just irritate the living daylights out of me. I don't know why. I even said it last night to Gina. I was like, I can't stand his wife. Like she just irks me to no end. And Casey just, I don't know. He just, Jamie, you're supposed to dislike. It makes sense to dislike him. He's the little Weasley lawyer who doesn't have any balls, and he's, the sister's got more balls than he does, and I love her. At first, I did not like Beth.
Oh God, I loved her right from the get go.
But I at first, like the first few episodes, I kind of got frustrated. I felt she was over proving how tough she is.
Yeah.
Like every opportunity she had, it had to be this persona of how tough she is. And I got tired of it. I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But she developed into I love her character. But yeah, Casey kind of aggravates me. I just wish he would, just make a choice for your life, man. Do what you're going to do. If you're not going to deal with your father's life, your father's family, then go.
Sure.
But that's why they write these stories like this. They want you to be aggravated with one character and love another one.
Sure.
And, all that fun stuff.
It keeps you tuning in, right? It keeps you.
You want
to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
All I got to say is, don't mess with Beth. That's all I got to say. Right?
I tell you. I thought married to a 5-foot Italian woman was tough. I don't know. She heard that one there. Oof. Yeah. My goodness.
No, it's.
But I tell you right now, though, if anybody could keep her, there's two people that could keep her in line, and that's John and Rip. I mean, she don't play. She'll even play a little bit with Rip, but she don't play when it comes to John. When it comes to Daddy,
well, she tries, but
yeah, exactly. She'll push the button here and there, but then she knows she backs off.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So it's going to be interesting to see because obviously the same creator has done Tulsa King.
Yeah,
so I'm sure they'll be giving us some characters to love and hate. Obviously, we all love Dwight, and what he does so far, and his humor and his toughness and his non-politically correct ways of doing things. But it'll be interesting to see who's the character that is the weasel, who's the character that you grew to like and you didn't in the beginning, and so it's gonna be fun to see.
I'm already liking his driver, right?
Yeah, the driver. I
He's
like
awesome.
the driver was funny. It's when he picks him up and he goes, for $2,000 a week, you think you'd get out of the car and open the door.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But
And
yeah, I like the driver too. He's got a good role. But so does the owner of the pot store, the weed
yeah,
store.
yeah.
So it's well
Well,
done
that's
so
just it,
far.
right? When he says, do I have a choice? And Dwight just says, no.
No,
Okay,
not really.
shakes his
Not
hand,
really.
and
No. All right.
it's on, right? So, but maybe down the road, the success of it, since you've got the same guy producing both shows, right? Directing both shows, maybe there will be a crossover. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, I mean, there could be. I mean, obviously Oklahoma is not near Montana,
No,
but that doesn't mean they can't. I mean, they in Yellowstone, remember they sent that kid Jimmy to
yeah,
Texas,
yeah,
and obviously Oklahoma's right there, right
mhm,
above Texas.
yeah,
So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility
mhm,
for them to be down there for whatever reason, or Dwight to be up there for whatever reason.
yeah,
It would be interesting to see. It really would be. And I don't, if it does happen, I don't foresee, and I could be completely wrong. Obviously, I'm
mhm,
not a Hollywood writer for a reason. I could completely see like Dwight and John being okay with each other.
yeah,
They seem like the same type of old school, no BS
mhm,
handshake type of guys that would be okay with each other. So
right,
I don't I don't know. I don't know.
mhm,
I don't know how they would write that in to play with each other, but everybody's assuming because it's the same creator
yeah.
that they might share the world at one point.
I mean,
Maybe,
we waited how many years, and it never really. I mean, Sly and Arnie worked together, but they didn't have that Rambo Commando
yeah,
crossover that everybody wanted, and
right,
maybe that was the ploy, right? To uh, keep everybody watching the movies and build up the rivalry, and
right, right.
and then they didn't do anything, but they eventually did start doing movies together, which were great. But we never got that crossover event where they teamed up, right? So I mean,
Right.
we kind of did in Expendables; they teamed up, but
Yeah.
not the way we thought in the '80s, kind of
No,
thing.
and like Escape Plan, it kind of took fruition there, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, I agree with you. It didn't like it would have been a perfect Rambo Commando type or Predator or whatever
Mhm.
in that time frame
Yeah.
of the late 80s. It would have been the ideal time to do it. It would have been they probably didn't do it. It would have just cost the studio so much money.
Oh, can you imagine? Hey,
I mean,
the
the two of the biggest stars of that decade in the
yeah,
same film. It's not like it is now where the Avengers, they have
yeah,
everybody and their brother in the movie and it cost
mhm,
them 300 million just for salaries.
yeah.
They didn't do that back then.
I was thinking more of the damage they would cause the two of them. They blow
Or that.
they blow a lot of shit up, right?
Well, that too. Yeah, there was no CGI, so there was
No,
a lot of explosives
no.
and
You wanna blow up what? Oh,
yeah.
okay, all right. You want to blow up something, and you want to blow up something. Jesus,
Yeah,
no,
no,
I
that's
just
true. That is
they would
very
have
true.
tried to outdo each other on the explosives and how many people they could kill. So, but
Yeah.
no, it's always good. That's part of being a fan of the movies, right, and the shows. And now here's my next question: Is the movies as we've seen it? And Sly touched on this a bit in the last week or so. Is this the new? Is this the new era? Streaming? Are we done going to the movies? I mean, I ask you that. We did, you and I, not together, but at the same time, we did go see Top Gun Maverick just because I wanted to see it on the big screen and the sound. But I got to tell you, there's not a lot of movies
Films are
I'm
still going to
rushing to go see.
be yeah. I mean, I think certain films are to still be seen on the big screen.
Hmm.
Top Gun
Hmm.
Maverick or Avengers type of
Hmm.
film
Hmm.
that is to have that surround big
Yeah.
screen presence. But in the same respect, you're right. It doesn't matter to me if I see it at home or if I see it in
Yeah.
there. Uh, I don't think it's like the theaters are done. I don't think that that's a
Yeah.
possibility. I think that they'll always
Yeah.
be around, but I don't think that they are as relevant as they were
Hmm.
especially because now they're streaming what did they just release? They just released something. Oh, Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
Halloween Ends was in the
Right to
theater
streaming.
and streaming the same Friday.
Yeah, exact same time.
So,
and some people have bigger TVs now, and bigger TVs and bigger TVs.
Well, even the TVs now. I mean, you go get a 75-inch TV now for like $400.
Yeah.
It used to be they were $4,000. They were just not really achievable anymore by the average person. Now, if you got $400 or $500 to spend, you can get a really nice 4K massive TV where
pause it.
Right.
It's you kind pause of it, you rewind it.
Yeah,
you can stream it, you can own it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love going to the movies. Right when I was younger, that's all we did because
it was different then.
Yeah,
very different. Number one, we didn't have a choice. So, so right there alone, it was different.
Yeah. Because if you had to, everybody's going to be shaking their head. I can see it now. You go see. I mean, I remember seeing Rocky IV. Okay, I'm just picking that one out because it's the one I remember seeing. That's the first one.
Right.
It was 6 months before it came out on video.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I told my daughters that. They didn't believe me. I said it was 6 months to a year. You couldn't see it again once it came out of the movies.
And then when it did come out, you couldn't afford it. It was $50 for a VHS or
it didn't come on. It didn't come on free TV or cable for years.
Yeah. And that was all of them. That wasn't just the Rocky movies. That was all
yeah. No, that was just it was everything. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And but if you couldn't get into a movie.
But I do also think that he has a point where he's saying a lot of these films now, I don't want to say they're easier to release because obviously nothing's that easy to release. But you don't need the massive studio backing anymore.
Yeah.
You kind of don't. I mean, you could make whatever your budget is to make a film and you can get it on Netflix and you can get it on Hulu or whatever a lot easier and a lot cheaper than you could releasing it in the theater nationwide.
Yeah.
And then you never know. From there, it might grow into something that you do wind up going big budget. But in the same respect, I think we'll be able to see a lot more storytelling than we were not able to see before because maybe a lot of studios passed on it.
Sure.
And now you can see it on Paramount Plus or whatever streaming service there might be.
Yeah. I wish I wish a few of them would maybe work a little bit together because I'm going TV broke here. Right? Like I gotta get Paramount now.
When I first cut the cord years ago, and I was thinking to myself, okay, well, I pay, I pay $69 for Wi-Fi, and I pay whatever it was years ago, $12 for Netflix, and okay, now it's Disney Plus, now it's another 12, now it's this plus, now it's another 10, now it's another 5. Next thing you know, I was like, I was saving hundreds by not having all these, like you said. But I do think it'll be, look, remember way back when, I mean, when cell phones first came out, you paid for minutes and you paid for texts.
Yeah.
There was no unlimited.
No.
You used to pay, okay, you got 500 texts.
Yeah.
Anything on top of that, you had to pay for. Could you imagine? I'd go broke with teenage daughters back then.
Oh, do you remember when you said that? You remember Married with Children? There was an episode of Married with Children where she called a 1-800 number and it was $1.99 for the first minute.
Yeah.
And then 99 cents for every after minute. And he looked at the bill and he says, "What the hell is this?" He goes, "You'd be proud of me, Daddy, because I hung up the phone after the first minute and called back, so you didn't get charged those extra minutes." And he just shook his head and he goes, "Thank you, pumpkin. Thank you." I don't know why that jumped to my mind.
But it's true. So it might get to the point where it's like this now. Every, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, now all these things all have their Discovery Plus. And I do believe it'll probably get to a point where whatever Netflix is going to say, okay, we're going to get Paramount, Disney, and Hulu all together. $15 a month is everybody. So it might not. It really depends on what you like and what you want to watch.
Well, that's right. I mean, at the very least, though, you can pick and choose. You can freeze the subscription and watch this for a bit. And I mean, you pause it, they'll be welcoming you back with open arms, right? So it's just the 50 questions that you have to go through when you cancel a subscription.
Yeah.
How come you're doing this and what can we do to keep you? And
Right, right.
And no, it's good.
And it also depends if you want the bells and whistles. You don't want
Yeah,
commercials. It's more money if you don't care about commercials. Right
yeah.
now, I'm being a cheapo. Paramount Plus is $5 without commercials. So
I'm surprised they took that long to bring back that racket. We got the notice the other day about Netflix, and they said the price was going up
right.
if you're going to watch commercials. And I said, well, fine, then put the commercials on, because I'm not gonna give me a chance to load up my drink or. But anyways, no, that's good. The other thing that I want to talk about is, what is the countdown with you now?
Well, today's Tuesday. I know we
Yeah,
record before we air, so it's
yeah.
14 days from tomorrow.
14 days to tomorrow.
14
Now, if
days from tomorrow.
anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, and you should, but in case you don't, I'm going to remind you. Tony is flying to Los Angeles, and what day is it? December.
Well, actually, let me rephrase that. It's
Yeah.
14 days from tomorrow where I go to LA.
Okay, so you're going to LA.
It's
Yeah.
2 weeks from Saturday, this
Okay,
coming Saturday, that I
so
meet him. I meet Sly.
okay, so experience with Stallone, right?
Yeah,
And I believe
December
tickets
10th.
are they say limited, but I think they're probably sold out now.
They flashed up something the other
Yeah.
day. They had only like 10% left, and
Right.
I don't know. We bought ours in March, so
Yeah.
it's
So
last remaining tickets. There you go.
yeah, last remaining tickets, and we've talked about this before, and this is a pretty big deal, right? This isn't
It
just
is.
your.
At first, I kind of felt like, I hear all these people with their stories of
Mhm,
how they met Sly. I met him on the set of Creed 2. I met him on
mhm.
the street in Philly. I met him at the Victor Cafe,
Yeah.
or whatever their story is behind meeting him, which adds to the coolness of meeting him. But you and I have had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Then you're rolling the dice with the picture.
Yep.
Is it too dark? Is it too many people where he doesn't want to? Are you getting a quick handshake and he's out of there?
Sometimes,
There's,
sometimes. I
it,
mean, other
it
times,
depends. And this has nothing to do with Sly. I know Sly
nope.
makes time for his fans, but there are also, like, you saw the video where he was on the steps the other day in
Yeah.
Philly.
Mhm.
You saw the crowd that was there.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
weren't getting near him.
No.
You weren't getting near him. They had police around him. They had the
Mhm.
cameras for the reality
Yeah.
show. He was waving. People were
Mhm.
doing the selfie,
Yeah.
standing 5 feet away from him.
Yeah.
I'm just greedy. That's not what I want. So
He was acknowledging, and listen, I don't want to take anything away from that or Sly himself. It's got to be awful hard, right? When you
it must
show up
be.
and all of a sudden
Yeah,
within 10 minutes, 10,000 people are
yeah.
there.
And like I said, I've heard so many stories. I've never heard a bad story about him
Mhm.
meeting somebody.
Mhm.
Everybody I've ever heard of that has met him,
Yeah.
he's always been cordial and friendly and polite and
Mhm.
respectful, and as Rocky fans are to him.
Yeah.
But this here, with it being, not only do you get to see him on stage talking about his career for an hour,
Mhm.
but to literally get to walk up to him, shake his hand, the quick 10 seconds that you have to say what you want to say to him,
Yeah.
and then get a professional picture. It's a dream come true for me.
Right.
I'll take that any day of the week.
No, absolutely. And like I said, we are going to document it. Well, you are going to document it.
Well, we are really, because I'll be
Yeah.
uploading stuff and you'll be doing
Yeah.
things with behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And
I'll be behind the scenes. I'll be like the little guy from Wizard of Oz behind the curtain,
pay no
posting.
attention to the man behind
Yeah,
the
pay
curtain.
no attention to me. It's got nothing to do with me. No, you know what? I'm as excited as you are, and I'm not going, but this is huge, and we're going to post it. We're going to, whatever you got, Tony, videos, pictures,
Yeah, I'm going to do
you
as
know,
much as I can. I mean, I don't know. I really haven't planned it yet. And of
no.
course, the night of, I got to see how it plays out,
Mhm.
because that's kind of what happened when I met Carl Weathers.
Right.
I I wanted to see how it played out. Like, what happens? What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? When we went out to meet him,
Mhm.
and I put my hand out to shake his hand, my daughter had her phone out,
Mhm.
and she went like this, and he said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, no phones, no
Mhm.
cameras." So she goes, "Okay," and put it away. So right
Yeah.
there alone, I'm like, "Okay, well, I can't take anything and
Yeah.
post it. So let's just enjoy the moment and deal with
Sure.
it."
Yeah.
but with this one here, the dinner and the intro of him and
Mm-hmm.
him on stage and all, obviously I'll be able to take pictures and
Yeah.
videos and whatnot. So I'll try and do as much as I can, posting as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
You'll definitely get tired of seeing me out in LA. So
I don't think so. I don't think we
I'll
will.
have plenty of stuff to post on there and show
Yeah.
everybody.
Just do me a favor when you do get in front of Sly. Do not be like the kid in the Christmas Story and freeze up. Right when he asks you, "How are you today?" Don't. And then okay, move it along.
Yeah,
Don't copy. No, I don't think it'd be
I
fun.
have met a large amount of celebrities in all fields of careers, movies, TVs,
Yeah.
music, sports in my life. I've been lucky enough where I've worked in and been in places and whatever that I've met a lot of people that I admire, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that I like, a lot of people that I whatever. He's one of the few that I have not met.
Mm-hmm.
I I would be very, very surprised if I got starstruck where I didn't talk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sound cocky. That's
Nope.
just not how I am.
Yeah.
But he's going to be one of the few people where I'm going to be like, holy crap. I just shook Sylvester Stallone's hand. That's
Yeah.
the other
No.
people I met. I respected and
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed meeting them.
Mm-hmm.
But a guy I've been watching since I was 10,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to saying a lot. So yeah, I'm going to milk it for all I can. I'm going to make them tell me, okay, sir, you need to leave.
Yeah.
I'm not going to voluntarily go. I'm going to have them say, okay, you can go now.
Yeah. You know what?
That's kinda
You'll
happened before
give Sly stories to take back to his friends because they'll say, this one guy just pulled up a chair. He just sat right down. He started signing autographs with me. So,
right? I'll be like, hey, you follow our podcast, so we got to start to talk here.
No, it's good.
Obviously.
You know what? Enjoy the moment. That's all I gotta say. We'll talk about it again before you go, but and then definitely
yeah, we have one more show to record before
Yep.
I go.
And that's gonna be fun. That's our 25th, Tony, our next episode.
25th.
I don't want to give any secrets away yet, but it's gonna be the only secret I will give, it's gonna be Sly related. That's all I gotta say. If you haven't figured that out by now, but
right,
it's gonna be fun. And then the show afterwards will be the Tony show. I won't even be on screen. So
well, yeah, don't worry, you won't see my face a lot. You'll see other pictures of everything else. So
yeah,
it'll look like the wall behind me. It'll just have rocking Sylvester Stallone and everything.
Yeah, it'll just say episode 26, Tony C. That's it. No, I'm kidding. And no, this is fun. But anyways, all our episodes are on YouTube up until now. And then next week, like I said, 25 already, Tony.
Yeah.
Time flies, eh? So
yeah, I mean, we like you said, we did not record 2.
Yeah.
But 25 weeks of the show. We're still going. We're still around. We're still relevant. I'm very thankful to anybody that still watches us and likes the show and all. It's Tim and I have a really fun time doing it. We don't take it overly serious, and
that's right.
But we do want people to enjoy watching it and listening to it. So it couldn't have been better for us. It worked out very well.
No, that's right. And then also we're on the Action Heroes podcast network. I throw that up here. I love the logo, right? So
it is a cool logo.
And you can listen to us in the car, or listen to us at work, at the gym, but maybe not at work, but maybe, I don't know. Depends on what you're doing.
Depends on your job.
Depends on your job. So I wouldn't recommend it if you're flying planes, but
right.
No, this was great, Tony. This was fun, and catch up next week with you.
We will. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.